These people, who don't even deserve to be called human, showed no mercy even to children and infants. They placed babies who were not even a year old on a spinning wheel, and as it turned, the babies screamed while their flesh and blood were torn apart by the spring bear. This was a scene captured by a Japanese military correspondent. At the moment when a young mother and her child were beheaded simultaneously, they went even further and threw another infant alive into boiling water or a cooking pot. This photograph shows people like Nakano putting them into the pot, frying them until they turned golden brown. These were Chinese babies and sometimes even children. They committed such atrocious acts right in front of the parents, and in the end, the mothers themselves were also killed in the most brutal ways, such as through mutilation or other cruel means. To satisfy the perverse desires of leaders like Ginling, who could not escape their fate, they assaulted daughters in front of their parents, wives in front of their husbands, mothers in front of their children, sisters in front of their brothers, and village girls and women in front of everyone, including Sumida. They even forced men from the same village to assault the women of their own village, made fathers empathize with the suffering of their daughters, and sons with the suffering of their mothers and brothers. They even made brothers empathize with the suffering of their sisters. These are all things they did. This heart-wrenching photograph shows a specimen made by Unit 731 of the Japanese Army, using Chinese infants. This is just one part of the countless historical pains, such as the skin of living people being flayed by them. I won't list each and every one here. All of these are things the Japanese did to us. After seeing this, do you still want to travel to Japan and spend your money there? However, even compared to these, all the atrocities the Japanese committed in China are just a fraction of what Xiaoli-san. This is only a small part. Throughout the entire Sino-Japanese War, more than 30 million Chinese soldiers and civilians lost their lives due to the Japanese military's invasion. Of these, 3.5 million were soldiers, and the rest were all ordinary citizens. It is not hard to imagine the immense suffering the Chinese people endured at that time. The countless atrocities committed by the Japanese army are beyond description, and even if all 3 million Japanese prisoners of war after the surrender were divided into 5 and each was punished 5 times, the pain in the hearts of the Chinese people could never be healed. However, the Chinese are a peace-loving people, and according to international treaties, in accordance with the spirit of humanitarianism, 3 million Japanese prisoners of war were treated favorably, and with the exception of a very small number of war criminals, the remaining millions of prisoners were all repatriated to their home country. After watching up to this point, how do you feel? Please be sure to share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to follow us. We will continue to update in the future.